Hi, Biddie, and you can turn on your sound. If I,
Ella, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks so much for taking your Saturday and talking to us here today. And so, tell everyone what you do and who you help.
Well, I'm a partner of a marketing and advertising firm. We're going on our 39th year. We're based out of Houston, but we do work all over the country and some globally. And we are what we help organizations from people, process, and profitability. We do design thinking from inside out.
Very nice. Now, how did we meet? Do you remember?
We met at WeBank. You actually spoke at one of the conferences or the Summit Salute, and I can't remember. And I heard you speak, and then I heard you again. You did a workshop for the forum leadership team,
Nice.
and I heard you again. You're running us through your workshop of elevator pitches.
Right. And was that virtual or was that on the stage?
No, it was on the stage. It
Oh,
was on.
wow. Remember those days, Biddy?
That was a long time ago.
I know.
What's a stage?
I know. I'm like, what is that? I don't even remember.
Yeah.
I know it's crazy. You know what I'm thinking? I may even have stage fright when I go back. Like, because now, like, I'm sitting in my, in a home, in a living room somewhere, and you're in your home, right? It's going to be such a weird reality to go back. I know some people in the South of the United States are going on. I talked to a gentleman who's, actually speaking at the conferences in Las Vegas. So they're open for
Yep.
business. They're
Vegas is open. They're
yeah,
going.
exactly right. Exactly. What happens in Vegas hopefully stays in Vegas in this case.
Yeah,
So
including all diseases. Yeah.
including all, yeah, that they don't believe exist. But anyway, so tell me how you decided after all these years, what business problem were you facing that you decided to join the program?
Well, I think I was for 38 years always thinking that don't put all your eggs in one basket, and that we need to diversify, diversify, diversify. And although it worked well, I listened to you based on right before your boot camp, where you kept talking about niches all the time. You would always talk about, and every time I talked to you, and every time you would talk about your speeches, it was always about riches in the niches. And so I took to heart that one time on the boot, and I thought, well, I think especially during COVID, everybody is swiveling and pivoting and trying to figure out their new next. We just happened to be going through it a little bit before the COVID. But then when I heard about your boot camp, I thought, well, let me take that, which I did. And it got me thinking when we were doing the homework that it really was important that I became an expert in an industry or an expert with a specific market.
Mm.
And I heard your different stories about different success stories. And I thought that, I need to quit bucking it, and I need to quit pushing it away and take it to heart. So that's why.
That's great. And so, what has the program, and it's been very short time, but what has the program um, allowed you to do that you wouldn't normally be doing?
One is get out of my comfort zone. Uh,
Hmm.
it made me really think and realize, and one of the first homework pieces that you were saying is really think about a target industry. And so even though I bucked it and I thought, well, I want to be all things to all people, I just, it doesn't matter if it's healthcare, it doesn't matter, everybody's going to need my marketing and branding and consulting business. What I realized is that I'm really am an expert in certain areas,
Mhm.
in certain industries, and why am I not targeting that? Why am I not specializing that so that when those particular industries think of that particular problem, they think of me first? And I often use the example for those of you that are familiar. I'm in Houston, and so MD Anderson is in Houston, and it's a cancer hospital that's very, very famous around the country and the world. And here, if we have cancer, that's the first thing you think of. You don't think, well, am I going to go to that facility or am I going to go there? Whatever. The first thing you hear is if you have cancer, it's, I'm going to go to MD Anderson. So that is a very extreme example, but I want to be that in a particular niche that if someone has a problem, they go, well, I need to go to LIM. I mean, that's who's the expert. They know everything about the industry.
And that's such a great example. it's carving out the space in the mind that automatically people's minds, and by people, I mean by your target prospect minds, automatically conjures up limb. And if I may tell people what you're doing, you're looking at a completely new niche, right? Tell us about that.
So we are going to, I got Berkman certified. So what we want to include is that when people come to us and they say, I have a problem, I have a marketing or a branding problem. I think I need a new logo. I think I need a new website. I think I need new marketing material. I need to beef up my social media. I'm not being noticed. What we were doing is putting a Band-Aid on a situation without really diving deep and saying, it may not be a new website. You may not need a new logo. It may be a reputation problem. It may be your sales team doesn't say, they're all not cohesive. Maybe it's your whole culture. Maybe the people are not in the right place to be able to sell your product or be able to talk about your product. And one person is saying one thing and another person is saying another. Maybe no one really understands your industry and how to sell it or how to even work within it. So we took a step back and we thought we need to include the consulting arm. That's why we call it design thinking from the inside out. We have to go into industries and look at it from the inside and take it all holistically and then roll it out to the outside. And that's the only way it's going to be successful. Otherwise, you're just giving an aspirin to a migraine, you know?
So one of the things that I love about what we're doing in the Magnetic Marketer with you, Biddie, is that with the research, we included not only finding a super niche in the marketing arm of your company, but we're also validating and investigating how to position this new consulting arm, which is fabulous because we're getting all of the answers out of the market at the same time. If there's enough of an appetite for each different one, we could absolutely do sub brands, right? We could do divisions under limb. We can market it completely differently. We will absolutely message it differently if they're different target groups, because obviously there are two different pain points. One is, you know, around their capabilities in sales and HR, and the other one is completely their message. So two completely different things, but we're finding out, one, how valid they are, and two, which one is the biggest pain that you could help people with, and three, how to position and word it so that we can make you into that, you know, the super cancer center. Like, I don't want you to be a cancer center, but you know, that kind of brand that sticks to people's minds.
Right. It was only through your exercise when we dove into that magnitude of Excel sheet that you put together that is overwhelming, but you actually broke it down where you said you can ask this question and this question, and if it's not that question, you can ask this question. So regardless of the situation that I'm asking clients, it will touch a pain point.
Yes.
And so you helped me break it down into niches. Okay, I'm going to go back to that word again, is that you helped me to say it may be an HR problem. It may be a marketing problem. It may be a sales problem. It may be, you know, it may be a culture. But to be able to go in and you helped me create those questions to be able to ask people for them to say, oh, I didn't think of it that way. You're absolutely correct. And one of the exercises that you part of our homework with you is that we have to reach out in our comfort zone and reach out to clients that we would never reach out to ask these questions. And what is so wonderful is that the last call that I made is she said, I think you need to talk to HR. I think you need to talk to marketing. And I think you need to talk to my business development person.
Wow.
So it was only you creating that system of questions to be able to say, do you find yourself in this scenario or this scenario or this scenario? And if so, what would you do as a result of it?
So that's amazing. And Biddie, like it's amazing your networks, because how long have you been involved in the women business enterprise? What's you're on the board, right? You're on their strategic team, or what are you on?
So it's WeBank. It's the Women's Business Enterprise National Council, and I'm on the Forum Leadership Team.
Forum Leadership Team.
So there's about 8 of us. So it's about 8 of us. The forum is collective about 200. There's about 17,000 members, and then there's 200 in the forum, and then there's a leadership team. So I'm in the leadership team in the
So
marketing area.
how many women CEOs know your name?
Oh God, Chala.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
how much network, like this woman that you see here, you guys, Biddie, has more people who know her, love her, trust her than anybody I know at WeBank, maybe except for, you know, Pam Eason, right? So, but, and you weren't utilizing them. Now we have something for you to go to these women or people they know who can introduce you to have those conversations. And it's phenomenal. You're sitting on a gold mine, and I'm so lucky that I get to help you, you know, actually make sense of that gold mine, to actually bring it to fruition and land that plane.
Well, I appreciate it. And also, I think you're helping me articulate it. Whereas before, my elevator speech, you know, I was just among the masses. And yeah, they may have known me, but that doesn't mean that they would necessarily call me, or I'd be the first person that they thought of.
Yeah.
And so you're helping me finite that situation, both from a pivot and a pitch, and how to get my foot in the door to be able to ask those questions, to be able to say, do you find yourself in this situation? Which is always difficult.
Yeah. Do you remember, was it last year or the year before, that I first noticed that at those procurement conferences, not just at the WeBank one, but I was also at the NMSDC, in the supplier handout, like they have a book of people who are participating, of the vendors. They put, no, please do not contact us if you're from a marketing agency. Did you see that?
No.
It's horrible. They put it for marketing agencies, and they put it for staffing companies. I think it was staffing, and especially IT staffing. Yeah. It's horrible. And the only reason why they do that is because there's no differentiation in those industries, right?
Right.
No. And at least you're aware of it, but right. A lot of people that I talk to, they're in denial of it. They're right. Like, oh no, we have years of service. Oh no, we have excellent service. Oh no, we go the extra mile. You know, yeah. These are not differentiators. Oh no, we're cheaper. Everybody can undercut you, right? So these are not the super niche. And I love what you said, that as long as you've known me, all I've ever talked about is niches. And that's what I want for you guys, is for as long as people know you, that they put you in their mind is that whatever super niche is, and that it's a really, really profitable one. And we go and find that out from the market with a strategic and systematic way. All right. Thank you so much, Biddie. Now, last question. Is there any advice that you have for people who maybe don't have the funding, or maybe need to go get the funding from someone in terms of, you know, borrowing money or putting it on their credit cards to make an investment into the program at this time?
You know, I'm always a firm believer that you have to continue to better yourself. And the way that we looked at it, it was an investment. And that's how you have to look at it. And so I feel at the end of the day, if the cost factor is I'm going to get clients as a result of it, and this investment is going to pay for itself tenfold. It's something that, and yes, it was hard times for everybody. I mean, there's those that are saying, oh my gosh, you know, but if you don't invest in yourself and invest in your company, and put that foot forward. And I was wasting time with individual coaching that wasn't getting me anywhere. It wasn't allowing me and diving into the business to be able to say, Biddie, this is what you need to say. And this is how you're going to make yourself different from everyone else. And I'm a firm believer, you got to separate yourself from the pack. And otherwise you're just one of many. And so, you know, the investment is going to pay for itself. All I need is one client to be able to, and I already have one that's, you know, I've got to work on the, as you and I both know, it's my homework for this next week, is get the email done to her. But I mean, she's ready for me to come in. And then I have another call on Tuesday with a different, in that same bucket of industries, but not, yeah. So she said, of course. And I'm going to talk to her on Tuesday. So the ball, and that's the fun part, is that once the ball begins to roll, it is fun, and it gets to be where you go, yeah, this is what it's all about.
And it's all about showing up, because when you show up, even if you haven't done anything, you are more motivated to do something the next week. And you guys always show up. I'm so blessed to work with you, Biddie. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. You have
All
a good
the
Saturday.